are so live. If he hits, he's got a chance of nicking a big pot. That's the only thing he can be thinking.
I mean, I'm wondering here. He's misread his hand somehow. They're not even suited. I know.
See, Nick will probably be thinking he knows that Dave Gregory can be putting this on him with anything. Shall he call or have a go at another raise here?
It was 6,000 up to, I think, 18.
When I see him in his heat, every time he was doing this with his chips, he passed. Yeah, he's changed it this time.
It was only up to 16. Pardon me. It was 10,000 more to Purcell.
Yeah.
But this is a big pot here.
It is a big pot already.
Gregory might not think he has the best hand. Well, now he don't.
No.
He who dares here, I guess.
Well, this would be funny if Jez comes out and has a bet at this.
I was wondering, I mean, Purcell might be able to say Gregory has a pocket pair, but Jez Bailey right now... Well, Jez Bailey can win this on the turn, can't he? They've all checked it.
Wow, what a card.
All of a sudden, Jez Bailey actually has the best hand. He's got the best pair of jacks, and he has the only flush draw out there. But it's impossible to know, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Check. All checked.
Nick Purcell is actually drawing dead for the whole...
Oh,
no, he's not. What am I saying? Two pair. Jackson sevens. That was his live card. It had to be a 7. That wasn't a club, or he could have had a couple cards for a split.
I think if Jez checks this, it might bring him trouble.
Check.
Because we know Nick's going to bet it.
20,000.
And he might raise.
It's been an amazing pot. Has everybody sort of just knuckled this?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Gregory gave up with that on the flop. He was not interested, and you just have to think that if he had just stuck in a small bet, it would have taken the money.
Be interested to see what he does here, Jesse.
It's 20,000. Very hard for him to put Nick Purcell on an ace here.
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. He could have been trapping, couldn't he? He could have a, you know, he could have hit his ace 9 or something. You know, when you got a big hand like that, you can let it check round twice.
That was one of the strangest pots we've ever seen, and Nick Purcell catching runner, turn and river to take the money uncontested.
And even better, not showing his cards, Jesse. That, you know, to Dave Gregory that he's called him with Jack 7.
Current chip leader, and this gut shot man's making a name for himself.
I only started about 3.5 years ago. A few friends used to watch first ever TV programs with it and tried to copy it on the kitchen table. Had a bit of fun, a few beers, and it kind of went from there really. I kind of fell into it, and when I started making, I wouldn't say more money than I could through work, because I was in a good job, but you know, enough money to be happy with my lifestyle. Then I decided that I wanted to do that full time, and I've been doing recruitment for 8 years now, so I thought it was a time to change and try something new. I've come back many times from not much to, you know, back in the game again, as it were, but hopefully those times are behind me now. I'm not worried about how I'm going to feel in 3 years. I'm just enjoying the moment, going with it, and you know, make some money, look after myself on the way. But who knows what the future is going to bring.
They have each beaten 5 players in the first heat, but can they endure the challenge at the semi-final table and be in the top 3 tonight? We'll find out after the break.
Oh mince!
Welcome back. In the structure of this heat, these players will have to alter their game. They need to survive, and they want a big chip stack. We now go back over to the table.
Annoying people.
Yes, those final 3 will be taking their chips forward to the final table. So a real battle of tactics here tonight.
And I'm getting very poor cards, so you know, just take it easy.
So you're quiet when you
Fold it around to Jez. I'm still trying to figure out what Jez Bailey was doing that hand.
Raised to 6,000 total.
It's really weird, wasn't it?
Tell you what.
He's come out and raised this for King 4.
And it's given McGill a decision. I think McGill's more interested in how Nick Purcell feels about his hand right now.
Well, this is the worst thing because you've got players behind you.
And that is the sign of a good player, isn't it, Ian? They always are trying to get a read on what's going to happen behind them before they act.
Well, Jez has come and raised out from under the gun here. John's got a small pair. He's got 3 people behind him, and the most he could do was just flat call that, really.
That's what he's done. And
now he's got himself heads up here. You know, he can play anything from here in.
This was the situation he wanted, wasn't it? To make sure it wasn't going to be cheap and head up for the flop. But pretty good flop for Captain Jez.
Yeah, not a good flop for a pair of 5s.
And
he must have known something, Jesse, eh?
One thing we saw about Jez Bailey
10,000.
is among other things, he's very tricky. He's not averse to check, raise. Don't know. Is there a play here from McGill?
I doubt it, you know. If someone raises, you've got to think he's got one of these cards. If he hasn't got one of them, he's got something in between them, Jesse, hasn't he? You know, if you make him miss this, then he's either got a pocket pair, an ace, a queen, or a 10. So he's going to be all round it.
Down to bluffing, really, then.
Yeah.
Which is not a foreign quantity for John McGill. Wonder what Jez Bailey would do if he stuck a bundle in. King 4, not really that strong against a guy who's interested in this flop.
Pass.
Yeah, good pass.
And, I mean, McGill may just have been putting Bailey in the sweatbox.
All right, we're down to 2 semifinals. What do you want to do? Well, first of all, you're going to be bringing your chips with you. So the final 3 players are going to advance. 3 aren't. So to me, you have to be one of those final 3 players, even if you're a bit short. So I would play a very patient game. I would play a bit of a waiting game. Now, if you have a bunch of passive players, then you can be aggressive and pick up a lot of small pots. But if it's a bunch of super aggressive players, they may force you to play a big pot when you have a big hand, which is good, or you may have to just sit on your hands for a while and come in with a short stack. That's okay. You have to play a passive style against a bunch of super aggressive guys. You have to make sure you make the final 3 or you lose with a big hand.
10 times World Series of Poker champion Phil Hellmuth obviously knows how to get the balance right, but a bit of stomach tightening here now, and McGill thinking twice about his cards.
Pass.
Tight pass from McGill there.
Raise to 6,000 total.
Although, you know, we've seen so many in the heats,
Call.
Ian, when there was unraised pots in the first level. We haven't seen one yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
You're not really going to be limping in hoping to see a flop.
I thought these
Pass.
guys would definitely sit back and not want to make too
Pass.
many moves early on, but it's exactly the opposite so far.
Well, triple at it, merchants. Purcell with the raise, Clive Layton with the cold call, and the better king in position. And a very nice flop for Kojak.
Yeah. See, Nick never frightened to come out and bet the flop.
No.
8,000. Pass.
What? What's happened there?
They must have had the hands backwards. Well, someone give Clive his cards back and let him go again.
What happened there? Surely that's not right.
I mean, you can't call before the flop if you don't. If you
Do you think he knew what he had, Jesse? I can't make that out. Did he have King Jack and just pass it?
I don't know. After what happened with Jez, I'm wondering if the graphics are bent. That was insane. But he didn't even think about it, Ian. He didn't even consider it.
Jesse, I haven't got a clue what's just gone on there. I was just saying before that, before the flop, we should nickname him